Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, devastation and disbelief in Abidjan as crowds of weeping fans mourn the death of Coupé Décalé superstar DJ Arafat. The 33-year-old Ivorian singer was killed in a motorcycle crash. Also, it's no money, no problem for vendors and customers at one of Togo's oldest barter markets. For generations, people from all around the northern shores of Lake Togo have gathered weekly to cashlessly stock up on the essentials. And Blind River is the third biggest and arguably greenest canyon in the world. With its breathtaking views, South Africa is hoping to put it at the heart of plans to boost tourism in Mpumalanga province. We take a closer look. But first, 33-year-old Ivorian superstar DJ Arafat has died, killed after his motorbike smashed into a car in Abidjan. On Monday, social media was awash in videos of tears and heartbreak as people expressed their devastation of the loss of a singer who was a driving force in the Coupé Décalé scene. Well, DJ Arafat, whose real name was Ange Dideri Houan, has a humongous following across West and Central Africa. Take a look.
A large crowd gathered in front of the Abidjan hospital where DJ Arafat died. Many fans could not believe that the superstar was killed aged 33 in a motorbike accident.
He's not dead. Can be dead. He's too young to die.
Some were live streaming the scenes in front of the hospital.
He was our most famous artist. He exported the Coupé Décalé style, which represents Ivory Coast. I'm very sad. Really very sad.
He did all kinds of music. He was a jovial character. He loved people. You often saw him in Abidjan. I saw him 2 days ago. It's so sad. He died so suddenly. We don't understand. It's too sudden.
He was a star of the Coupé Décalé style, a dance music form combining rapid percussion, choppy rhythms and hip-hop vocals. In 2014, he told France 24 why he had chosen the name of the former Palestinian leader, Arafat.
I grew up with Lebanese friends. They gave me the nickname because they thought I was hardcore. That's how I became Arafat.
DJ Arafat loved to drive quickly, and the sad irony is that his latest single, Moto Moto, mentioned his passion for powerful motorbikes.
Well, Arafat released 11 albums over his career, and his sounds may have taken off in Ivorian clubs, but they spread across the continent, Europe, and the States. Frank Hersey tells us more. He's in Abidjan for us. Frank, people are taking this really hard. You were speaking to some of those fans in Abidjan on Monday as they tried to digest the news. What were people saying?
Well, it's come as a huge shock, really, especially here in Ivory Coast, in Abidjan, where he was so frequently seen and performing. And I think one of the things that made him so popular was his command of both traditional media and social media. And so he was in very close contact with his fans. He was constantly on Facebook, a great user of the live streaming facility there. And so people felt like they had an almost personal relationship with him, which is why it's come as such a shock today. And so really, because they felt so close, there's been a sort of lack of trust with the statements coming from the authorities. No one's really, especially early in the day, convinced that he had in fact died. And so when we went along ourselves to the clinic where he was during the night, there were hundreds, if not thousands of fans out on the street, angry. There was a stampede. People were throwing rocks even, just out of sheer anger at the situation. But what we've had this evening is the state broadcaster, RTI, doing a very long, extended broadcast about the artist and the events. We expect that will help the news to sink in with his fans here.
And we've also seen tributes to Arafat coming in from all around the world. How big a star was he outside of Ivory Coast?
Well, it's never really easy to compare a star and express how famous they are to another audience, what they experience in their home market. But really, he was one of the greatest stars of not just Francophone, French-speaking Africa, but French-speaking markets in general. And one of his nicknames was actually the Zeus of Africa. And so really, he had it all. It wasn't just the music. He had the fashion, the dancing that everyone was copying, these epic videos as well. And so he had a sort of lovable character. He wasn't squeaky clean. He'd get into sort of spats with other coupé décalé artists. He was constantly giving himself nicknames. Most recently, he called himself the leader of China and his fans the Chinese. And so he had 11 albums, mainly the coupé décalé music, which is this sort of offbeat, fast percussion music with like a hip-hop styling over the top. So it's about flashy lifestyles and, great for nightclubs, which is where the music was born. And so there've been tributes from other artists such as Davido in Nigeria, but also the president of Ivory Coast has put out a statement on Facebook saying that he was an ambassador for Ivorian music and culture and an icon for Ivorian youth. The culture minister has announced that there's going to be a tribute, a sort of memorial concert, but it seems his fans aren't waiting around for that to happen, and they've been gathering in large numbers. It's reported that at the moment they're gathering at the site of the accident, so they're coming together to celebrate his life, but we can expect some big parties in the coming days and weeks.
Thanks very much, Frank Hersey, there for us in Abidjan. In other news, Nigerian Shiite leader Ibrahim Zakzaky and his wife have finally flown out to see doctors in India following a court judgment to that effect last week. Zakzaky is the head of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria. He's been detained since 2015, despite a court ordering his release in 2016. Hundreds of his followers have been killed by soldiers over the years, and the IMN accuses authorities of persecution. Fears over Zakzaky's health had fueled a recent wave of protests in Abuja that again led to bloodshed after a crackdown by security forces. Zakzaky will have to return to Nigeria to stand trial once again once he's finished treatment. Now, every weekend, traders, fisherfolk and farmers head to the northern shores of Lake Togo for the traditional Barter market. Known as Togoville, the community says it's about paying tribute to their heritage as much as stocking up on essentials. Our correspondent report.
The traditional gong has been replaced with the blow of a whistle to kick things off. At 8 a.m. sharp, the King's Messenger declares the market open, a centuries-old tradition that takes place twice a week in Togoville.
Come and see, we have jute leaves, we have fish, we have vegetables, we have everything you need for a swap, and you'll even be on TV.
Swapping goods without exchanging money dates back to the 17th century in Togoville, to when the town was governed by priest-kings. The kingdom of Togoville, on the shores of Lake Togo, used to be off the beaten track. The pace of life here was slow, and the town was known as the spiritual heart of the region, watched over by protective god Ngiblin, who forbade anyone dressed like Europeans from entering and bringing their currency along.
When currency was introduced, we didn't want to lose this tradition, so we have two ways of doing business.
Before money came into the picture, hunters, fishermen and farmers depended on each other and ensured the balance of society.
We come with some fish and a few products from the city that we exchange for vegetables, and everyone is happy.
Ajo Ekonu is a regular at the swap market. She grows corn and cassava to earn a living and takes care of her family of 6.
This market is useful. If we didn't swap, it would be difficult for us to eat.
In exchange for her cassava flour, Ajoa can get vegetables and fish as long as she respects the code of conduct. Regulars know the value of their goods by heart.
If we're not satisfied with what we're given, you just need to ask nicely for more, and that works.
There's always some sort of conflict, and I'm here to calm people down, to make sure everyone's satisfied.
The barter and swap market helps people deal with the high cost of living and low purchasing power. Today, people from the capital, 60 kilometres away, as well as residents from the other side of the river, visit the ancestral market.
Well, Blythe River is the third biggest and arguably greenest canyon in the world. With its breathtaking views, South Africa is hoping to put it at the heart of plans to boost tourism in Mpumalanga province. Simon Harding has more.
Majestic scenery stretching over 26 kilometres. Green valleys either side of the river, which give way to sudden cliff drops of over 700 metres. Blythe River in South Africa is the third biggest canyon of the world. A view which leaves no one indifferent. Scary for some, but bringing out the inner daredevil of others. To get a full scope of the canyon's beauty, we head off into the clouds. And welcome to the sky. Aboard the plane of Kyle Cravey at dawn and providing a mesmerising spectacle.
As the wind blows through you, it funnels through, which creates a vortex, and that slowly withers away the rocks.
An impressive view, but one that doesn't allow you to fully appreciate the hidden treasures of the canyon.
Here is the third canyon after a Grand Canyon in USA, Fish River Canyon in Namibia. But this canyon is the biggest, greenest canyon in the whole world.
A national park which gives insight into a unique fauna and flora, wild animals which live in peace, protected by the park. Whether it is the mesmerising views or a sense of adventure, Blythe River delivers unforgettable memories.
Well, that's it for Eye in Africa for now. Thanks for joining us. Do so again. Take care.
Your needs are changing, and so is France24.com. With articles, reports, the latest international news, all our programmes available on replay, together with live broadcasting 24/7. Intuitive, fast, and available in 4 languages. France24.com. Liberté, égalité, actualité.